This week on the podcast, we look forward to 2025 and set out New Year's gaming resolutions for ourselves and the big players in the gaming industry. And in this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, we name the best comedy game as we kick off the new year in style. All this and more on the Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kirk-Kelvin, and today I am joined by the bearded one, Scott, the tastemaker. Curry, how are we, Scott?
Happy 2025, folks.
That's right.
We're officially here, balls deep in our Lord's year 2025. We're not, because we're recording this a few days earlier, but by the power of recorded voice and the interwebs, we are speaking to you from the past. How is it there? Has anything bad happened? Have I broken my leg since this podcast has been recorded? I don't know. I might. I'm now back at work, so if you want some time off, then Scott might launch himself out his window. But
Y2K2
2.0,
Yep.
0.5. Apart from all that, though, I'm actually pretty good, to be honest with you. Today was my first day back at work in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And in a week full of, I think what they're paraphrasing or what they're calling it is the quademic.
Right.
Stomach flu, coronavirus, and some other pish.
All right.
Is what's hit the world. So I think my wife had all five, which is ridiculous. And that whole week was just spent cleaning up
all sorts,
licorice, all sorts. So. It's been quite fun, and it's nice to actually record a podcast where I feel awake. Because last podcast, if you listened carefully,
oh god,
I was somewhere else.
Yeah,
it was great. But it's been nice having a week off with the family. Nice getting away for a day, and then now I'm here recording bullshit. How are you?
Good, yeah, good. I'm still, enjoying the holiday period, which is 2 weeks of absolute indulgence.
Yes.
It's great. I've just been having a random beer, just random bits of food, cheese. I've actually had so much cheese, I went into the bathroom and thought that a bar of soap was cheese, and I was like, "Did you leave cheese in here?" And it was just soap. Didn't eat it though. That would have been quite funny. No, I'm just really enjoying it, but I'm not at the point where it's just like, oh, I just really want a bit of lettuce. It's like, no, fuck that. I'll still quite eat the Toblerones. I'm quite happy, but 6th of January, get back on the horse and behave myself, because I can't be trusted, as you know, Scott, can't be trusted. So, but yeah, I think I'm in that mode where I'm thinking, right, I've been quite lucky. I've achieved everything I've wanted to do this year. Or last year, 2024. For me, it was wanted to get more healthy and start this podcast with you, my bestie, and get back into playing drums again, which I did with the music man, Sean Murray, and still do him. So it's about what do we do to kind of upgrade on that this year, So is that like War of the Worlds outside or something? Oh,
something bad is happening now, not next year.
Maybe that is. This is the start of the invasion. So yeah, no, I think I'm just thinking about what do we want to do? What's the goals for Pixel Parents? What's the goals for myself in general? And then on top of all that, I've got a house move to look forward to in the first couple of months of this year. So yeah, it's exciting times. But I'm just glad to be here face to face. Nice treat.
I know we get to look at my mug.
Always a delight. You've drew the short straw there on the other side of the table. But yeah, I think I'm really excited to talk about this week's topics because we're at the start of the year. Everybody's full of optimism.
A blank slate to, put the best foot. What is it? The best foot forward or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to trip up on the way there on that first step. But I think it's good. Set our stalls and really determine what the future of this podcast looks like and how the grift begins. You know,
That's it. As this year we just go full right wing grifter.
I mean, I'm starting to feel it.
We'll see how fucked up the world gets, but I'm hoping not. I'm hoping the world stays honest and pure, and we're filled with Superman-esque hope for the rest of the year. But before we get into stuff, let's get some housekeeping out the road, shall we?
Get it done.
So, of course, for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, the weekly podcast by parents who game for those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming whilst raising little ones. If you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello and share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Yon Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear and you want to support the show, you can leave a 5-star review and, of course, share this podcast online with your friends. It really helps us out. And, of course, thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. And with a particular thank you to everybody that's joined us for our Christmas specials over the holiday period. It's
absolutely
been
mental.
It's warmed the cobbles, so it has.
Cobbles?
The cockles, so to say, sorry.
He's living in Coronation Street.
Oh, I don't even know what day it is anymore. But it's been fantastic.
It's been great, yeah. It's nice to share our own Christmas traditions and people getting to enjoy that with us.
Yeah, and our Game of the Year as well, which is live now. So if you've not heard it, it's the most recent episode before this one. So yeah, go check it out. Let us know your thoughts. But of course, Scott, throw that out the way. What have you been playing this week?
What have we been playing this week? Mm-hmm. It's been it feels like it's been quite a long time since we recorded, but it's not actually been. It's been, you know, a week or so since we actually sat down and recorded. But I've not actually updated anyone on my Grand Theft Auto exploits. So
do tell.
Here's the current, you know, the current situation. So I finished San Andreas. San Andreas is done, out the road, and platinumed. Everything sorted out.
Nice.
All came together quite neatly, actually, by the end of it, which was pretty cool. So managed to get it all out of the way. And that game ended. I couldn't remember how the game ended. I remember this.
Crazy.
I remember the fire truck, but I don't remember much else. So to actually see it end was cool. And it's kind of capped off the trilogy now. So now we've moved on to the Ballad of Niko Bellic. And fucking hell, that game is dog shit. Like, Grand Theft Auto 4 is rotten.
How dare.
And that's just, you know, to look at. When you start factoring in the stupid characters, the jokes, the world, the cars, the driving, oh my God, everything about it is just like, it's got to stop. Just stop doing this to yourself. But I am nothing but a man of my word at this point. Mm-hmm. And I am persisting with Grand Theft Auto 4 for the future of this podcast. I feel like the podcast will die if I don't finish Grand Theft Auto 4. It's like me clinging onto the seats of a plane because I'm the only thing holding this plane together. You know, not the mountain of aerospace engineers that have put this metal tin can together. Mm-hmm. It's me holding it as hard as I possibly can.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, you've pledged publicly on this podcast.
I have pledged
to rinse all the GTA games. Now, of course, it's harder with GTA 4, so you're going to 100% it. Or 1,000 achievement score, whatever one it is. Then GTA 5.
Yes.
Because the multiplayer trophies make that a wee bit of a really unrealistic thing to do. So maybe 100% in it. I've did GTA 5, which is well worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like your dessert. But you could feasibly do that, and then we could have a date for GTA 6 at the end of all this.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Pretty much. This might be the Dragon Age beginnings, because it was like everything all at once, which would be pretty cool. But by that time, I'll be making my way through Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've also promised.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You know, Grand Theft Auto 6, sit down, hen. Arthur Morgan's getting his time.
It's not coming out this year, is it? Let's face it.
There's more and more I think about it. It's just the lack of knowledge that we have on it. It's definitely not coming out. But the jump from 4 to 5 is ridiculous.
Staggering.
Like, 4 is turgid as all hell.
Well, and like, if we cast our mind back,
it's a sign of its own times, and that's fine. But it's like, who played this game and went, let's ship this, you know? This is how this should ship. There's just bits in it. I mean, there's moments in it. There are moments in it where I'm like, this is cool. Like, I love Nico. Nico is just he's not cool. He's just a daft wee guy, which is hilarious.
Yes, but I think he can be quite a complex written character in terms of Rockstar. I mean, if you actually go back and think about it, like to kind of focus on an Eastern European immigrant to their version of New York City, and obviously it says of its time, 2008, so everything was very grim, dark, and brown. It's a very autumnal game. Which, and again, if you've ever been to New York City, it's a perfect place to be any season, but autumn it really does shine. And yeah, it's probably the most awkward one to go back to out of the lot.
It's the hardest one that I've played since, and maybe it needs the remastering treatment. Maybe something needs to happen there to make it, playable. But
will you be doing the DLCs as well?
No, I'm not touching them. Fuck that. I might. Good. I mean, I might. The only thing stopping me from whatever the achievement score push is for Xbox, because I hate doing it on Xbox because it's not as neat and tidy as a platinum trophy. But the only thing stopping me from going the whole hog is just the multiplayer stuff in it, because it's just like I can't be asked doing it. So this might just be a playthrough, to be honest with you, because I don't think I'm going to get anything more out of it than I want to. And
fair enough.
Slide on over to 5. But I've been I fell off the wagon on that quite hard actually at the beginning of the week, because after Christmas I thought, do you know what I'm going to play? Not Dragon Quest 3 remaster, remake,
2D,
whatever
HD.
it is, whatever the fucking thing is on that. Not that what I got for Christmas. Not Jade Empire that I bought because it's kind of funny. Not Path of Exile 2 that I bought because I got a PlayStation voucher.
Nice.
The game that I've been playing this week more than anything else has finally been Stellar Blade.
Nice.
And let me tell you something. That is a fucking video game. Holy moly. It wears its heart on its sleeve. Like, it you know what that game's all about the minute you turn it on.
I bet, aye.
And, there's a couple of... There's fucking 4 massive things that are letting you know what it's all about. And they don't hesitate to show you that. It's like... You can't even press start to hide it, because it's like, it's just Eve shows up on screen. It's your wife coming in. Let's just press the PlayStation button and hide everything.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal. Like, the fact that it's taken me this long to get into it has been, disgusting. It is everything I love about Devil May Cry, the Nier games, Dark Souls, like all that pish all rolled into one big pig in a blanket and shoved it directly into my face. It is so good. I remember thinking when they announced Game of the kind of Game Award stuff, it was all about soundtracks and stuff, and Stellar Blade's soundtrack was on there. So I've been trying to pay more attention to what's playing as I'm playing it, and it's fucking brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Like, it just complements everything that you're doing in it. But I'm actually like pure falling in love with it. It's class. It's so good.
That's great.
And that's the kind of thing where I'm like, do I continue to go down this path and then play Grand Theft Auto 4, or do I try and do them both at the same time, which is like annoying. So I'm kind of to and fro with that, but I think I might stick with Stellar Blade now, jump back to Grand Theft Auto in the new year, and then that kicks off everything back the way it was. But I am loving Stellar Blade. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think there's something there that you would enjoy. It's not quite as, hack and slashy as a Devil May Cry. Like, you're not scudding square a million times to get through it. It's a bit more methodical in the way that you do approach it, but you could also feasibly get through it scudding square and triangle as much as you possibly can. But the parries in it, like, oh man, the parries.
We do like a parry here.
We love a parry. And there's a stupid thing where you find cans in the game world, like drinks cans, and she like aims them at the screen, like like when Zelda picks up something, it like lifts it up and shows it to the screen. She does it with every can that you pick up, but it does it in such a way it's like cha-ching, and it's like an advert. It's fucking hilarious. So stupid. I don't even know why it does it, but it's so daft.
I love that.
But I think that I think it's like, is it Shift Up or something like that they made them? I'm terrible with names, but I'm sure it's something like that made it. But they've just, you can tell that they've just been told, just do what you want. Like,
Just have fun.
just have fun with it, because they really have, and they've completely nailed it. So,
Shift up your right.
aye. What am I like, eh? What am I like? But I think it's just got lost in the shuffle of the year. Like, I think that people forget that it came out in 2024. Like,
I mean, I thought it was the year before, but it came out quite early.
it was very early, aye. But I think people do just forget that it came out this year and that it was good. Like, like talking about PlayStation's year, that's a fucking gold stamp on the book for them. So yeah, I do see myself making my way through this game. If there's a platinum on the cards, we'll soon find out. But for now, I mean, I'm thinking about it right now as I'm making this, as we're doing this podcast, thinking by the time I get home, could I reasonably go online for a couple hours and play it? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that's pretty much it. Played Call of Duty a few times with yourself. Played a hell of a lot of Balatro.
Oh God.
With a sick wife and child at home. I've had a lot of free time, so I've played so much Balatro, and eaten myself into, diabetes. I think I might have. So
that's the season.
That's it. That's what we're here for. So, apart from that, nothing much else to report.
So it's pretty good time, though.
It's been pretty good.
Pretty good time. I mean, I'll piggyback off top of that. I mean, for myself, this Balatro I've probably played the most in my time off, and I'm kind of a little bit, I am probably the world's worst procrastinator when you've got time off work to play stuff. And it's like, here I'm just sitting playing Balatro. And I made the mistake when I was not well to get it on my phone. So I'm going between that and then playing it on the Portal, which has just been brilliant for those downtime moments. Like, because we're all busy this time of year. You're going seeing family, you're just doing little excursions, all the rest of it. But then it's like they come home, they want to play with all the toys they got from Santa. And it's like, cool, I'll get the Portal out, which again, big believers in the Portal on this podcast. And it's perfect. Balatro's just like the perfect game for it.
Yeah.
Because it's like little 20 minutes and it's like, why don't you use your phone? Sometimes it's just like the big screen. And it's just, I don't know what it is. It just feels a bit more like an experience. The only criticism I have of Balatro on the mobile is that it feels awkward to hold and tap at times. But I'm picking very, very minute holes in it. But it's been playing so much of it. And just the game just keeps on getting better and better and more addictive. And this is like something we'll play for generations easily. But it's a perfect pick up and play game. Like you mentioned, Black Ops 6, put a lot of time into that. In fact, we have put a lot of time into that. We were playing it the other night and just discovered what our count is on it. It's disgusting.
Horrible.
But do you know what? I need that this time of year. Like, I think there's something about multiplayer gaming and the whole festive period that goes hand in hand. I like the kind of in-game events, Christmas themed maps. And it's just damn good. Like, I can't really fault Black Ops 6. It does what I need it to do, which is I want something to go on. I enjoy the social aspect of it. So it's like, let's jump on. We've spent all day with the kids and stuff like that. Let's go talk shite for a couple of hours and just shoot things and die a lot. And of course, there's lots of kids that just got it for Christmas. So it's a good chance to level up.
I've had the best. I've had the best few rounds of my life the last few days, so it's been class.
It's been excellent. We've been getting those gold camos in and everything, and diamonds, you name it. But I've actually, since finishing Indiana Jones, which I did just in the lead up to the start of the official holiday, I've went back to Dragon Age Veilguard. That's kind of like been my big main course. So I stopped it at a point where I knew I can pick it right back up and know where I'm going. So I've just been kind of going through the same way as you would like with a Mass Effect, which is I'm doing all the side stuff first.
Yeah, that's the only
companions, and then you go into the main story. So it's progressing. I reckon I'm probably about 60.
Where are you now?
I don't want to say because it's still quite new. But I would say I'm about 60% at worst through the game, story wise anyway. And I've just been really enjoying it. Like the game just opens up. I love the combat in it, and I just like being in the world. There's just something about it. Like I need that slice of it, but it's getting me geared up for the big main course.
The big main course,
Assassin's Creed Shadows. When this man disappears for 3 months to go get that platinum, because I have to. I platinum all these big games.
Do you have any concerns about Assassin's Creed Shadows?
I mean,
Like,
yes,
not
and no.
just purely from a game point of view. I just think like from the delay and now, I'm not familiar with any of the marketing materials or updates that we've had since that big notification telling us that it's been delayed. But we know what's happening with Ubisoft. We know all the issues that's happening there. Are there any moments where you're like, what's happening?
You're asking the guy. You're asking the guy here, the Assassin's Creed apologist. I don't. Yes and no. I think the delay was a good thing. It was a good move on their part because they realised that the release model they were going for, given what happened with Outlaws and its underperformance, and it's also quite physical performance issues on launch, that some players were experiencing, they realised that they're not going to get away with that. The stock price was just tumbling, and Ubisoft, they are, because we watched Man United earlier on, right? They are in the bottom half of the table just now. They need some wins. They can't afford any more losses. Public perception and also, I should say, media critical reception goes a long way here.
Yeah.
I think that if I was a betting man, which I am, I think the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, for a fan like me, will be a great experience. I have the utmost faith in that team. And from what I've seen, it looks exactly what we want. That big open world adventure, the two protagonists, and really just kind of making those tweaks to the stealth and the more physical based combat. Great. I think critically it's going to be received probably around the 7 out of 10 at best mark. I think this is the one that, if I look back at just the general perception of what Assassin's Creed Valhalla got, which was, it's a 9 out of 10 game, great entry, and it goes through this cycle of, it starts off high, and then give it a year or two, and it's like, oh god, the game was rubbish, it was so long, blah, blah, blah. And then the new one gets announced, and then it's like, this game wasn't as bad. So, and I do think that there is a lot of, criticism's a subjective process, right? Yeah. I will not like a game for reasons that I may ignore in a game that I do like. Assassin's Creed is a perfect example of that. There is, of course, the open world, like, it's stuffed with the kind of simple tasks and all the rest of it to do, the length and all that. But however, it's one that's like, right, well, if that is a criticism, what of these games that are getting Game of the Year nominated, like Metaphor ReFantagio, we talked about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, all these other games, but it's like, there's two examples of ones where I'm quite happy with one, and then you're like, seems too long on the other. I'm thinking about going back to Octopath Traveler 2, which is like an over 100-hour game, and it's like, why did we turn a blind eye to that and not this? There's no consistency because it's a subjective thing, which ultimately feels like, does it feel like a slog? But I'm not worried about it. I actually think that there's been a lot of positives. So like they've gone back to the drawing board with how they're releasing it, getting rid of all that pre-order slubbery that's around it, and that can only be a good thing for players. I think Ubisoft have been burned by Outlaws, which, by the way, is a great game. It's definitely worth people's time, especially now with the DLC and they've made the improvements. I've seen a lot more and more people play it, like on Blue Sky and stuff. I'm seeing people play it all over the place. So exactly, and it's one of those ones where I think the only critic you should really ever listen to is not me or anybody else. It's yourself. It's me. It's actually yourself me. And Scott, of course. But it's I think it's only you will ever be a judgment. I know I am. The royal you, I think it is. I'm not sure what it is, but only the individual can ever really know if it's for you or not. I mean, how many games that get like 10s out of 10s? How many people do we know that I'd recommend Balatro to? They'll play it and go, it's just not for me. That's shite, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? But that's just how it works. So I was talking to someone today, and it was like they literally had nothing but happy memories and love for Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah. And I was like, it's fucking dog shit, mate. I'm sorry. Dragon's Dog meat. But then I was like, that's how I felt, exactly how I felt, and how I still feel about Metaphor. And it's like, I cannot see how people have this world view that this is like Game of the Year worthy. Yeah. Like, it's like, I do not, in my mind, in my heart of hearts, it's like, I don't see it. It's like, why do people love The Big Show? Like, it's always rest. It's like, he's big. Yeah. But that's all he is. And he's pure shite. Like, doesn't make sense. You're right, and it's also like we can all be influenced. And I know, like with Assassin's Creed Shadow, I think it's walking into a shitstorm, critically and public perception wise, because of the, you have got a black male protagonist and also a female protagonist.
I mean, it's hitting all the fucking, it's hitting all the worry points for the woke brigade.
All the fucking weirdos out there are going, this is red meat for them.
I mean, YouTube's going to be lighting up.
It's going to be toxic as all hell. It was similar to what was with Dragon Age of Veilguard, but again, I insist, play it. There is an incredible game under there. And
I know this isn't the point of this podcast, but I'm just want to stick on this for a minute, right? Do you think that this is, like last roll of the dice on Assassin's Creed?
I think for this style of it, yes. I think win or lose, we won't get another big style Assassin's Creed project like this. I think Ubisoft are like, this has taken 4.5 years to get out.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. I think they want Assassin's Creed to go back to a more regular release schedule. And you may start to see them, what they're already talking about, remaking Black Flag and stuff like that. Smaller entries, 20 to 30 hours experiences. For me, it's a pity because to pull all this right full circle back to the point of this podcast, if you're talking about a parent gamer, for me, I'm the type of parent gamer that wants a game that is big and meaty, that I can sit down, it's the comfort food at the end of a long day, work and all the rest of it, and I can go through that open world and just kind of
chip away.
And I'm very happy in that space.
I remember you doing it with Origins and stuff. Like
exactly.
That's the one I vividly remember you playing. It's
yeah.
You were playing that every single night, and you would just see you slowly making your way through it
till I got the platinum, and that was that. I think it was I needed that just as that little through line when I first became a dad, and that was the advent of it. And it was one of the it wasn't the first game, but it was one of the first games I remember platinuming, and then it started that. Then I did it with Odyssey a couple of years later, did it with Valhalla, and now I'm really excited to do it with Shadows. So I do think it's, I always take these things with a pinch of salt, because there's some more low-hanging fruit criticisms that I think that gets directed to certain developers over others, and ignored. When we're talking about like JRPGs and stuff like that. I mean, like if you look at, there's a game that I really want to go play that was getting such positive reception last year. I've not found the time, and it's Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. But everybody you speak to that plays it, this game is mammoth. Like 100 hours is probably a short playthrough if you're lucky. But it's jam packed of fun things to do, and everybody that plays it could not be higher on that game. But then again, subjective. If you go back to Like a Dragon, it didn't really vibe with you the same way, so naturally you'd be a little bit more apprehensive going into Infinite Wealth, and it keeps spinning. I mean, I'm in that mood just now where I've been playing through the Veilguard, and I'm needing that meal served to me of the Assassin's Creed type, which is why
waiting for so long.
I was actually waiting to ask you on the podcast with Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake. I'm like, but then I'm like, I should really go back and finish Octopath Traveler 2.
Play Octopath if you're going to play anything. Aye.
Wait till the price comes down.
The only reason I got it is because it was a Christmas present. So it was my wife's Christmas present to me this year. And it was very much as I will play it, but there's also every other game that I've ever bought in the way. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sitting on, I was very fortunate to get some vouchers for Christmas from my lovely wife and others. So I'm sitting and just kind of biding my time with that. I did, however, to pull it back to what we've been playing, I did get some new backlog editions. So those vouchers are obviously part of that. So that's backlog TBC. But I picked up the Life is Strange Double Exposure finally. Sale, and that's sitting there. It's sitting there nestled under a tree.
When you're needing a good cry over the new year.
That's it. So I'm keeping that for after I do the Veilguard. I think that could be a good January game.
Aye, it's something short to kind of ease yourself through it. Yeah,
just ease it back in. And then after that, it's I'm just going to go back to the Alan Wake 2 DLC because that's my wee.
That's the wee treat. The wee treat. That's good.
It's not long. Not long.
No, that's good. I think my backlog's just it's growing arms and legs and feet. It's going to start making babies now because it's getting ridiculous. But yeah.
Well, On that note,
On that note,
we do have a very interesting main topic that we want to talk about this week, which is all going to be about our gaming resolutions for 2025. But I thought a good place to start, before we start talking about the year ahead, Scott, is to just pause and take a little kind of look at 2024. Just name just a couple of the highs and lows to add a little bit of context as to what we're expecting from the year ahead. So we're going to start with some highs, Scott. I've only got a few here, so it's not
Okay.
very long, right? So some highs of 2024.
the highest of highs.
I've got some here, right, as we kick off our topic this week. For me, we've already mentioned it. I think Balatro
Yes.
is a definite high. Just been such a pleasant surprise out of nowhere, which is always good to see in a year of gaming. No buzz around it at all.
Aye.
Just pure smacked us all over the face like wet fish. And it's became a staple game. Like, I think this is one that you and I will always go back to. People listening, people that we engage with online. This is the game that's just going to be there. Like, I'll just play a couple of bits of that and I'm quite happy.
That's you done, aye.
I think as well a high was game showcases. They kind of showed signs of getting better. Still not perfect, which means that better games are coming. So that's what it tells me, that there's more games out there that we're excited about.
Yeah.
You know, I still think there's what to be done, and I'd use game showcases exclusively there, not award shows.
Yes.
Award shows masquerading, or game showcases masquerading as award shows, but did get better. And I think my last one, highs, I want to keep this brief, as Astrobot, you know, like Balatro, another wee surprise, which is one of the best games of last year. Dead simple. I think we needed it, making platforms in vogue again. And as we head into what hopefully is another Mario title this year. So that's my highs. Any highs you want to look back on?
I think, you know, getting the second installment of Final Fantasy VII, I think getting Rebirth, not, if you love or hate the game, fair enough, but being able to experience that story all over again has been phenomenal. Getting to experience it with you at the same time,
yes,
was even better. I would say switching my Xbox on this year. I mean, using my Xbox more than I ever have before with Call of Duty, with Persona 3, 100%.
Yep.
You know, has been a real joy. Like, utilizing Game Pass more than I ever have before, and having a reason to play video games now. Like, it's not just something that I sit down and just go, yep, I'm just playing this now just because I want to play it. I now have purpose for the things that I'm playing, which I quite like having. And there was something else that I was thinking about, but I can't remember what it was. Fuck. Oh God, what was it?
Just going to say Balatro.
Balatro is definitely up there because it has been standout. I mean, there's better games this year, 100%, but the game that stuck with me the most has been Balatro, because it has been ridiculous. Do you know what it is, actually? One of my main highs for this year. It was actually spending more time with the Wii one playing games than I have this year. Like, sitting down and playing Stardew Valley, like having routine where if we have an extra half hour, 45 minutes, you know, before bedtime, we'll sit down and play stuff together, which has been great. Because, you know, if, as a father, you know what it's like, you know, having a mother in the house. It's like, mom, but this is the one thing that we do together, and mum doesn't encroach on it. She's welcome to join, but never encroaches. So it's like,
yeah, I think you're right, because I think, you know, anyone that's listening to this is either going to be the default parent or the parent that isn't the default parent, and it probably isn't into gaming. So, like, very, very likely one of the parents isn't going to be into gaming. I think that's probably the majority. If it's not the case, I think you're very lucky. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely been a good thing.
It's been a good thing. I remember my last one.
Shit.
And it's not one game in particular, but it has been Dragon Age.
Yes.
For me this year, it has been the series as a whole, and becoming a fan of Dragon Age has really been good. So there you are. That's one of my highs as well.
Excellent. I do like to hear it. Now, with the highs, come the lows.
Come the lows.
And I don't want to linger this too much but I think it's important to start off the conversation about what we expect from 2025 with a little bit of this kind of contextualising year gone by. For me, the lows, obviously, I think you'll echo this, obviously, the layoffs in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around 15,000 people
Jesus.
lost their job making video games last year, which is absolute dog meat, to be honest with you. I hope that ends, but I think we're heading into a world that's looking to favour the super rich more and workers less. But I really do hope it's not going to be like we started the start of 2025 where it's not going to feel like the start of 2024 where it was just day after day. It was just another announcement of people losing their job and livelihoods, working in, these dream factories at the end of the day. They're working hard to get there. Another low for me was the PS5 Pro pricing. I think that we will look back on that as a watershed moment. I really do, where video gaming really started to become an expensive hobby. It's not cheap, but I mean, I think that's something I fundamentally hate because I feel like it should be for everybody. And yes, of course, you don't have to be an early adopter. You can wait till these products hit the maturity level and stuff. But, 70 quid games plus a 700 quid console. And what I've learned over the Christmas break is that the younger kids around us in the family, the PS5 Pro is in the chatter, And then you chuck in things like Oculus headsets and all the rest of all that. I mean, it adds up, but I think that we will look back on that moment where we were all aghast and thinking, how am I going to sell Pokemon cards to afford this? And, I think fast forward in 2 years' time, when the PS6 is announced, we are in for a shock.
Yes.
We are in for a shock, and we'll all be going there trying to find the first microwave to play our Xbox games on, which I think, they've nailed that, to be honest with you. And the last one for me is, we've talked about it briefly before, is the lack of GTA 6 news. We know it's coming. We know it's getting delayed. Like, at this point, I think just call it and do as a solid Rockstar, to be honest. I think the silence is very annoying now. I kind of wish they would wield their marketing gravitas a bit more, because it feels borderline arrogant, and I know that's why. It's kind of like, we'll do it when we want. But just geeze it. I kind of felt a wee bit like it sucked that it leaked. It really, because it's never good to get it in that way, because you're all scrambling, and it's really pissed for the people that's working hard to make this launch effective. But it's also kind of like, man, you kind of deserve this for
for how long it's fucking taken.
Fucking every gamer sitting here just absolutely ganting for anything.
You can't not expect it though. Like,
no,
it's probably the most anticipated game
of all time.
So like, to not and to have anticipated that this is going to happen is just ridiculous. Like, I'm with you on that. That's probably one of the lowest lows. Not personally. I don't think I'm craving Grand Theft Auto 6 yet. And it's strange being on the Grand Theft Auto kick at the moment. But it's definitely not the game that I'm really looking forward to. I think, kind of piggybacking off that same feeling, the lack of news about the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yep.
I think Nintendo are fucking, they're really taking the piss with this. Like, I'm not fucking in the market for a Nintendo Switch 2 at this very moment in time, right? It's fine, but the Nintendo Switch has been about for a million years now. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much fucking longer do you need? We've seen 14 million mock-ups of this Nintendo Switch 2 now. There's a post on Reddit every hour. It's like that thing where it's like, what is it? Is it like Bono on stage? It's like, every single time I click my fingers, a child dies. It's like, every single time he clicks his fingers, a new post gets leaked on Reddit with fucking Nintendo Switch rumors on it. But it's just like the most frustrating thing, and it's not. Just tell us when. Like, don't even tell us when it's coming out. Just tell us when you're going to show us more about it. Give us a wee showcase and then just get it all out the way, because it's like, it's the biggest. Like, not the biggest, it's like the biggest known secret.
Worst kept secret.
Thanks for that. It's the worst kept secret in the video game industry.
Do you know what I think it is, though? I think they wanted one last Christmas to squeeze the Switch out of, and that pisses me off.
What is the Switch doing, though? Like,
I think it's, at this point, you're marketing towards, more casual gamers and younger gamers.
Yeah.
Because it's got this amazing catalogue of games for you to go into. And I mean, if I look at right now, my Switch has effectively become my son's now. He doesn't even ask anymore. He just goes and takes it, plays it for 10 minutes, puts it back, and then it's like, Dad, can I play Zelda? Dad, can I play Mario Odyssey? Dad, can I play Mario? And I'm like, right, okay. And I've enjoyed letting him play independently because he's actually got better at the games. But I'm like, man, I think I said this in a few episodes ago. It's like, if you were in the market for one as a semi-hardcore gamer, you would be thinking twice because you're like, well, I know they really want it, but how do you say no? How does Santa say no to the kid?
Yeah,
that really wants it.
No, that's it.
So.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's a fucking pain in the ass now. Like it's just really annoying now that we have a gaming podcast every week that tells us more news about it and stuff like that. Have more rumors have surfaced, so it just feels like really, really annoying. Apart from that, nothing else really. Like, I think it's been a pretty good year. I think you've touched on the kind of the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
But those would be the main things for me, to be honest with you. I've not. Nah, Dragon Dogma 2, wasting that many hours of my life playing that. I lump that in my metaphor, but apart from that, I think it's been a pretty solid year.
Yeah,
for the curry,
Well, absolutely, and I think on that, I think what we'd do is move on swiftly to the main point of this topic.
The main point
of discussion, which is, of course, the New Year gaming resolution. So, Scott, we've framed this in a way where we're going to be listing out what we think the resolution should be for the big three here, which
the big
is
three:
Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony, and then, of course, the industry at large. And after that, we're going to set out our own personal gaming resolutions and maybe any wee challenges or milestones we're thinking in their upper sleeve. So I think we'll kick things off because we're talking about there's Nintendo. Right?
Okay.
Now, again, I've only got like 3 points for each. So I want to just kind of phrase and get your thoughts on. Hopefully, I'll do the same in reverse. But I'm thinking I'm with you. Announce the Switch 2 in January should be top of their resolution.
January
list.
1st. Tweet out.
Yep.
That's it.
Here it is.
New year, new us. New year, new me. And it's just a me avatar.
That's it, yeah. Switch 2 logo, there it is. And
fucking, I've just nailed that. Like, unintentionally.
But I'm with you. Sick of the bogus insiders, the discourse, the erroneous YouTuber thumbnails, spec videos. Just end it. Just get it out. Give us a date. Let's go. I want to know how much it is, when it's coming. I don't want this to be... And I want them to be quick about it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like a tweet. As for me, if it's resolution-wise, it's like they should be looking to get something out very quick that's like, well, tune in to a special Nintendo Direct tomorrow. We'll be announcing their future plans for consoles. Instead of tune in at the end of this month.
Yeah.
And then, it could come out probably, I'm thinking, the end of March at this point. And the Switch came out at the same time, although they announced it sooner. It does feel they've kind of shot themselves in the foot a wee bit, but then I don't know if they're doing that because maybe the production yield is lower. I'm not sure. I do not work in that industry.
I know a man that works in Nintendo and he said that's the reason for it.
So that's my first resolution for Nintendo. What about yourself?
100% agree with you, to be honest with you. I think it's get this out and show us what's coming. Like, I think Nintendo gets away with it. Because it's Nintendo, we know they're going to cook, but it is just hurry up. Like, fucking shut up and just geese it.
Taking a sweet ass time, as we like to say. But I think next to that, I've put, and it follows on, which is make us want the Switch 2, right?
Yes.
I want the console itself to really make me want to buy it. Now, you mentioned it before. There's an element of malaise about this. Now, if I'm honest, I wouldn't be rushing out to get this if we didn't have this lovely podcast. But I feel like we have a duty to keep in line with the latest Nintendo stuff on here as best we can. But I hope they've really made some good quality of life changes and it can play a lot more third party games in the go. So I want them to make it sexy to compete with this bustling handheld market that we talked about a couple of episodes ago. Why should we get this over a Steam Deck? It's probably going to be a very similar price point, I'd imagine, between the $399 to $450 mark.
You'd be happy to pay that if it performs
exactly
like that. Like that's the big issue for me, is that I'm not going to buy this thing if it's not running as well as a Steam Deck, because then I'm just going to buy a fucking Steam Deck.
Yeah,
like,
Steam
and I'm
Deck
not doing
OLED.
that because I Aye, I'm not doing that. I don't want to abuse PC gamers anymore. But
I do. No.
I'm with you though. It's very much you have to make us want it. Like the debut lineup for this console is going to be make or break.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that might be partly the reason why they've hung off for so long.
Well, that's next on the resolution list here, Scott, which is I think games aplenty.
Games aplenty.
They have the ace of the exclusives up their sleeves at all
Yeah.
times. Like it or lump it. So give us new entries. Like
Yes.
I don't want ports. I don't want like Breath of the Wild Deluxe. I want something new. Ideally, Mario Odyssey sequel. It doesn't have. It could be Mario or something else. Just a new 3D Mario, a Mario Kart 9. One of the two, you're off to the races. That's like, the attach rate on that would be insane, and you'd be very, very happy. And I would be like, cool. And then you've got Metroid Prime 4. For me personally, I'm like, yes. We know there's going to be backwards compatibility with it, so I don't really think they'd get away with this whole deluxe thing. If you remember the early days of the Switch, having, at least in that first year, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, but they did have like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't think they can get away with the deluxes in this one.
Nah.
So
with Mario Kart though, I don't. It's kind of like Smash Ultimate for me. Is that everything is there already? So it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Kind of attitude for me with Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart 8 is and still is class.
Perfect for me.
It's just, I don't know, with Mario Kart 9, I don't know what you change. Just bring back Double Dash. But please, I'd buy it straight away. But it's Metroid Prime and stuff like that doesn't get my juices flowing, Odyssey 2, maybe, but
Please.
I just think there has to be something
We know,
like shit your pants, buy this immediately.
yeah. I mean, even if they did something like, is it a new Donkey Kong? Do they bring Star Fox back at retirement? Do they do something where it's just like, okay, cool. I have a funny feeling that they'll launch and they'll have like, the much rumoured at this point, like Elden Ring port and all that, which is cool. But I'm not buying a Switch 2 to play
I've got Elden Ring at home. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, you've got chalk ices in the fridge, freezer. Fuck.
But do they do something that shocks us?
What could you bring back? What lost Nintendo IP could you bring back?
God, where do you even start? I mean, do they do something to do with Earthbound or something like that?
I mean, the world would implode.
Exactly. I think for a time there, the Switch 2 had its heyday. It's been a great place to play like indie games. Like Katana Zero and stuff like that. My Name is Pedro, Stardew Valley. Perfect for the Switch. I'm thinking if they get that balance right, it's probably going to be a good, let's face it, 80-20. 80% third party, 20% exclusives for launch. Then there isn't going to be a Zelda. Like, at this point, I would be shocked. And there'd also be a little bit like, I don't think it's time. But then again, Tears of the Kingdom just expanded upon Breath of the Wild. They could have been cooking something up. You never know.
Do you know what I could see though? Or what I'd like to see?
What's that?
Twilight Princess, brother. Twilight Princess remade.
Do you know, I did see something today.
Take every penny I have.
I don't have a source on this, but I can't be bothered looking it up. But there's been rumours flying about that I saw that it's actually going to be another Wind Waker.
I don't want Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Stop persisting with Wind Waker. Give me fucking Twilight Princess, please. Please.
There's so much that they could do.
It's but that though, they're dipping back into that same well. I just feel like, who could you wheel out? Like, what Nintendo IP could you be like, we are resurrecting this? And it's like, for the launch of the Switch 2, this is a brand new Alex the Kid game. Do you know what I mean? It's not because that's Sega, but like, what could you bring to the table?
Try to think. I mean, they could also do like a new Wario game.
Oh, no, they were going fucking standalone Waluigi game.
Let me see. Golden Sun, perhaps.
Oh, fuck. Nah, I don't think they would though.
They could also launch the Pokemon. Forget about that as well,
yes,
actually.
And do you know what? That would be, see if it came out and it looks and runs very good. It's like Pokemon Red. It's just red, yellow, and blue.
Yep.
And just say, here you go. Go back to Pallet Town.
there's other ones as well. Like, remember for the longest time, the old Switch 2 rumour mill used to be Game Pass is coming to the Switch. Now, that's something, but that would address the third party thing.
Yeah.
If it has the power to run it, if it has the same power capabilities of a Series S. But this is me getting into wacky territory because there'd be no point, like, here, buy a new console. By the way, here's one of our competitors on the console because this is an Xbox. So it doesn't really fit the brand.
I mean, the good thing is I could play Blinks the Time Sweeper on it.
True. They could, but they could get some rare IP if they formed a deal with Microsoft to get like another Banjo-Kazooie or something like that on there, or they could even do like another Xenoblade.
Yeah.
I think even things like Monster Hunter, these type of games would do really well on the Switch. But whatever it is, I want the lineup to be like,
I mean,
bastards,
that's what it is. I think that in Nintendo, for all their flaws, are usually pretty good at that. Like, they've usually got, this is the console, and here are every single game that you have to buy on it.
You're right. I mean, if I look back at the original Switch lineup, right, 1-2 Switch, pish. But I went out, I didn't pre-order it, and I had my Xbox One there. I boxed it up on the day of release.
Yeah.
The second day the Switch was out, took it to game, traded it in. I got the last Switch because I was like, the FOMO kicked in. It was like, no, I really want to play. I knew I wanted to play Breath of the Wild. But then when you start seeing the tens flood in stupidly, and there's like, well, so I'm going to buy a new console today. And I kind of want that feeling, that buzz of like, let's go get it. And my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping, because my intent is that this will be the console that will be quite generational for my son, in the sense that there'll be lots of these Nintendo games coming out on it, and he will be like, Odyssey 2, I want that to be his Super Mario 64. You know, that type of thing. Whatever Zelda game comes out on it. I mean, he's playing all these ones on the original Switch. Yeah. And he will inherit that. Well, in fact, I say inherit. He's took it already. It's a midden. It's a total midden. I keep picking up. I'm like, why is this sticking to my hands? Why does this defy gravity?
Okay, you saw Wicked over the Christmas period.
Oh, God, aye. Plenty of Wicked patter. But I think, as long as they do that, we're great. But I think I digress. It's time we should move on to the next one, which, of course, juicy one, Xbox. I think in terms of their resolutions, if I'm Big Phil, right, Big Uncle Phil, it's like the first one is like, I think they need to crack is to answer the question, this is why you play on Xbox. Like, they need to give us that. I think this is the year. We've talked about it and you've heard it in all the podcasts. Dominoes are lining up, they're going to fall, plans coming in place. We've heard Xbox's messaging at times, I think, is great as and friendly and player friendly as it is. There's so much obsession on the boardroom, like strategy side of things. Yeah, it's fascinating. Particularly as gamers, we can tend to obsess over that a little bit. If you're the hardcore space as we are, that's not good. Like, I think we've talked too much about strategy, and I think if I look back at my time in work, there's one of my colleagues that I work with. She always says that there's like less conversation, more commitment. That's what I want to see from Xbox here, which is like, I think they really needed to commit to delivering in the strategy now. Like, what does that look like? So, sure, everything can be an Xbox. I'm talking on an Xbox just now, but give players a reason why they should play Xbox in anywhere. It's like, this is everywhere. Why don't you pick it up and play? You know, did that work for Stadia? Did that work for anything else? It's like, give us a reason why. Why is it that you should invest in this ecosystem of Xbox? And to follow on in that, next on their list again, something like Nintendo's games. Yeah. Like, that's been Xbox's problem for the longest time. And this year has seen, I wouldn't say a shift, but it's getting there. There's games that are coming out for Xbox now. Yeah. Like, I've been the biggest fucking, what's the word? The doommonger of Xbox for many years, because that's the one. Like, we hear the corporate speak of Xbox forever. Like, this is what they're looking to try and do. Like, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Yep. Your arse, your mother-in-law, your newborn daughter is an Xbox. Yep. But where are show us the games that you're playing on this fucking thing? Like, it's class having Indiana Jones, and that's the flagpole. That is the American flag in the moon now. They needed that. The next is we're going to have Avowed and stuff like that coming next year. That has to hit.
we're then going to have, I don't remember what comes after that, but we're going to have more and more, hopefully, in the coming year. We're going to have that New Orleans one.
Yep. What's it called again? South of Midnight.
South of Midnight or something. Yeah. So these games are coming, and that's good. This is what Xbox needs. I'm with you on it. It's the less I hear about, strategy and conversations with Phil and Sarah Bond and the Booty Man, the less I hear of them, the better, to be honest with you. Just sit back, just say, look, do what you were doing with the developers conference thing, where you just shone the light on them and just let them do what they need to do and just give us the games. Like, I'm quite happy to pay for Game Pass because, it feels like I'm getting stuff for free. Like with COD, I've not paid for it. I'm paying for it, but I've not paid for it. It doesn't feel like it.
A big outlay.
But it's like, just give us these games. Like, the Xbox isn't the first party console for me. It's not the third party console for me. Everything I buy third party, I play on PlayStation.
Yep.
Without a doubt. That's not because I've got the Pro now. That's just because it's always been the way it's been. Make me change my mind on that. Like, make it so I can play Onimusha comes out. It's not coming out till 2026, but say that comes out and say, look, day one on Game Pass. Fucking do it right, I'm jumping on that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, just give us these games, give us everything, but also give us their own games, because there's games there. That's the thing, like Gears of War coming up.
Yep, Fable,
other Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark, yeah, there's another one.
Like, just give us these games and give us them sooner. Like, I'm happy to wait till the end of the year because you can't dump it all in the beginning of the year, but just give us this. Give us the reason to switch on the Xbox and keep it on.
Yeah, I'm totally with you and all that. I mean, like, I'm behind Division.
Yeah,
I really am.
I think it's great. I love the concept of, you can play anywhere on anything. I love that. But it shouldn't be, these are all the things that you can play on. It should be, these are the games that you can play it on. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is an Xbox and you can play this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's snappier. This is an Xbox. It's cool. But what am I playing on it?
It's true. I mean, I think they're getting there, and it's all it takes is just one or two. I mean, for me, like, I'm with you. I thoroughly enjoyed playing my Xbox more than like Flintlock, Siege of Dawn. Call of Duty's been huge. Indiana Jones, I thoroughly enjoyed, but I enjoyed just having that feeling of anticipation, turning it on.
Yeah,
and it's like cool as a new thing in Game Pass. Ones like for me, like Avowed, I'm very excited about. But we just need more of it, and I hope that they do deliver on that. They don't all need. I mean, Indiana Jones was a surprise one, albeit polarizing, but it was surprising because I think going in there I was like a 7 out of 10 at best, and it's ended up for me. I'd honestly give that like a 9 or a 10. Honestly, it's exceptional for me. But I think it's. I
think I'd probably stop recording this podcast if you gave it a 10. I think I'd leave.
It's genuinely like. In terms of, I've spoken about it before, it just got the character. It got the character, and I think like it's not a big, an Uncharted type thing. It's not supposed to be that. That's not who Indiana Jones is. Excuse me, I'm dying. But I think to have that, I'll move on to the next resolution I have for them, which will help with that, which is make use of Activision on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think. Get the licenses, you get deep pockets, Microsoft, release the classic Activision games on it to generate buzz, low-hanging fruit. Focus on those quick wins whilst the exclusives cook. So things like, imagine like Spider-Man 2 or the Tony Hawk games or something like Prototype or something like just drop it on Game Pass. It's like you can play it now. Win-win, I think they should do that. People will go bananas.
I think you're right. It's definitely something that it's a missed opportunity of like, why buy it if you're not going to use it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like buying turkey to cook for your Christmas dinner and just leaving it in the fridge. Like,
well, it's went off.
I thought, fuck, I meant to use it, but I'm not going to now. Like,
is that in there? Oh, still busy focusing on this cabbage.
I'll just eat cabbage for my Christmas dinner. But no, it's. I think it is just games. I don't really think, and it's always been the same issue with me for Xbox, to be honest with you, is that I believe in the vision. Just give me games now. Like, they could, as I say, they could reasonably not tell me anything more about Game Pass and the future of the Xbox, and just say, these are all the games that are releasing this year, and just put it on a big black screen, show me every single game, and I'd be like, right, that's it. I'm sold, because I am not. I want to turn my Xbox on. Do you know what I mean? I bought this console for a reason. Like I bought an Xbox Series X and I played it once, like one time, in the whole time that I bought it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the fact that I've had more use out of this console this year than ever before is phenomenal. So give me games. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time for us to move on to the next one.
The next one
of our list. So yeah.
I think this is the hardest one.
Yeah, well, of course we're talking about Sony.
Uh-huh.
But for me, it's a hard one. But in fact, actually, I think the top of the list for me is to support the PS5 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. We're only a few weeks into its life cycle, and to be honest, I want more games with enhancements.
You know, as a high, having this console that future proofs me on PlayStation 5 for a number of years is great. But as a low, the lack of some of the support that's there, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to be specific about the games that you play to experience that benefit is a bit of a pain in the arse. But I'm with you on that, in that I'd like to see them put more of a focus, like every single game that releases next year is just enhanced for the PlayStation 5 Pro as standard.
Yeah.
Like, it should be like that.
Yeah.
And that's, aye.
I think, like, supporting the devs to add those enhancements would be great, and signposting the options better. It really annoys me that in Dragon Age of Veilguard it's just added and you can't toggle it. I think make sure that the toggle is there and they'll be fine. I think, and next to that, I've put down as another resolution to think about is to get back to being single player focused.
Yes.
So less multiplayer push. You know, just obviously Concord is still like, you know, in the lingering in the memory. But just lean back into being the premier platform for exclusive single player games, you know, whatever it is. You talked about Stellar Blade earlier. You know, Ghost of Yoti should be a good start. You know, I want them to be that Sony again, and that's what leads me into effectively. It's a third one, but it's more kind of the second one, which is the low hanging fruit. You know, Sony are transitioning, PlayStation are transitioning from the Jim Ryan era, you know, which hasn't been great. It's not been terrible, but it's not been great. It's been a very corporate Sony, which we're used to seeing. We always get it after a successful generation, as we saw with the PS3 generation, for example. Concord is the canary in the coal mine for them. It has to be. Stop chasing those old trends. Give players what they want. And you know what I'm leading to? Bloodborne 2. Just give us that.
I mean, that's the lowest hanging fruit.
There you go.
Oh, fucking
it's
all
on the
time.
ground. It's not even hanging.
No, it definitely aye. And I think now more than ever, it's more of a likelihood. Yeah, I think these answers basically write themselves, to be honest with you, in that single player focused games, I think that seems to be the way forward. Like, we've seen it, obviously, the basic trailers that we've seen looking at the future of PlayStation. We've seen the Ghost of Yoti. We've seen Intergalactic. Is that what it was called?
Yep.
We've seen that coming from, you know, Naughty Dog, that it signals that single player is the future for them. I'd just like to see more and more of that. I want to see more of a showcase on the future of PlayStation, and I want to see that sooner rather than later, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that if they, I know it's not the point of the PlayStation 5 Pro, but if they would like to shift more of those, you know, early 2025, this month, I can't figure it out. You know, show us the future of PlayStation this year.
Yeah.
Like, the Game Awards were great because it showed you games that were coming out, but they all seem to be focused on 2026, 2027, you know.
Yeah, like
whereas
Witcher 4 and stuff.
It's here and now we're looking at. So we're going into 2025 with, I'd argue, less knowledge about what's coming out than we did last year.
Yeah.
And it felt last year like we were fucking walking in the dark looking for games to play. But I think that I don't see how they don't look at Concord and go, look, let's just fucking let's just stop. Let's just take everything
Yeah.
back to what we know and what we're good at and take it from there. I do think, though, there has to be... I don't think you can abandon that strategy wholeheartedly.
No,
Like,
no.
I don't think you can say, let's never make let's never make games as a service or multiplayer games ever again, because then we wouldn't have things like other games like, Overwatch or Marvel Rivals. We wouldn't have like games like that. So whether or not Sony want to kind of have their thumb in that pie, it's up to them. But there's people, getting paid far more money than me to make that decision. However, my biggest thing, and it's something that they've started to do slowly, sort of drip feed it in, but when it comes to PlayStation Plus, make premium worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I think premium is great when it comes down to, your older titles and stuff like that. But come on, fuck, you've got the whole PlayStation 2 library there.
Yeah.
Hurry up. Like, move your fucking ass and get it done, because that is it. Like, just stop making us play 2-3 games at a time. Just say, look, here's January's games that released that year. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a ridiculous undertaking, but here is a massive fucking wall of PlayStation
salvo.
2 game, because it's just like you're drip feed. You're literally tickling our balls here. Like, let's just start getting games that we want to play again.
You, Sony?
And I would pay more for PlayStation Plus Premium if it meant that I could play these PlayStation 2 games again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go out and buy a PlayStation 2 to go and play older games that I want to play. So
even with things like them adding the Portal streaming, that was immediately like, okay, premium feels worth it now. But you're right, it only lasts for so long. I went in there the other day looking for like a strategic JRPG type to play, because I was in that mood, and slim pickings, but there's a lot of good stuff there. I think PlayStation Plus has tremendous value for someone that's new to PlayStation, because you got like Ghost of Tsushima and all that, and all these big hitters. But yeah, it's just
the backwards compatibility stuff. Like, Xbox are king at it. I went and bought Jade Empire because of that episode of Kind of Funny where they were talking about it, and it was like £2, and it's like, that is nothing in comparison to what I'm getting out of it. So it was just, PlayStation just need to, they've got this beloved generation of console games just sitting there. Like, it just feels like such a missed opportunity. So I'd say just something like that. But I'm easy Ozzy.
Yeah, it's it doesn't feel like they have got completely lazy yet.
Yeah,
but they could. There's potential there.
I think for me, if I'm looking at what needs, so what one of those three need the resolution more than the others, is Nintendo more than anything else.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think Xbox are showing signs of this. PlayStation could, they could slip on the banana peel and fall down the stairs, but I reckon Nintendo just need to kind of make that next step, and that'll be them.
Yeah, so I suppose if I was giving them all red, amber, greens, I'd probably give Sony and Xbox more of a green than an amber.
Yeah,
and I'd give Nintendo more of an amber than a red. But yeah, very interesting to discuss all that, and it's good because it's like, it kind of sets out what we're expecting the year. You mentioned when it came to games and what we don't know this year. This is what we're talking about. We'll move on to now industry at large. It feels like we don't know a lot about 2025, and I have the reason why. I know, shocking, because we are, these hands are encrusted in Cheetos. We are the insiders here. We have the insider scoops. No, we don't. But everything's coming out, it feels like, in February. And the reason why they're stuffing that there is because publishers are terrified of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
And I think that has to be the first thing to go away. So once you find GTA 6 gets delayed, my prediction would be spring 2026, because it pushes it into the next fiscal year, or probably March 2026, because then I think that's as far as Take-Two is willing to go.
It's Mafia next year. This year.
So then they've got Mafia,
so
which will come out this year.
They could rely on that.
Yeah, so they're not going to like they're not going to release delay it to November because Mafia will come out about October, November.
Yeah.
So GTA 6 realistically needs to hit between April to June this year. It's not going to happen.
Nah.
Like as much as I would love it.
Imagine
like,
it. Imagine it does though. Like the marketing campaign just fucking ramps up. Skeletons in your closet.
Oh man. And that's the thing you got to consider though. Like
it just say fucking January 1st. Trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 hits the minute the bells hit in Glasgow. And it's like, well, they're not, they've cancelled the street parties, but the minute the bells
That's
hit,
true.
and it's like fucking Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, and this is the wheels start turning, the cogs start burning, and fucking
Honestly, like if GTA 6 is going to come out this year in 2025, they will put out a trailer in January. If it goes past that, forget about it. It's not happening.
I'm going to be on the truther train. I'm going to believe. I'm the Marvin Andrews of this podcast now. I am going to believe that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out in 2025.
I want to believe. I do, but I just don't see it.
I'm going to set my flag in that stall.
Good. Well, I hope you're right. I do hope you're right.
It'll be so funny.
I think in terms of the industry at large outside of that, because you'll find that once we know where GTA 6 lands, you'll start to get more info. I think it's top of the list. We don't have to linger on it. Less layoffs. It's a dream. It's a big hope. The next one's a long one. But I think this is a year that we as an industry, right? Or the industry, we're not industry, we're media, right? Media's not games industry. So the games that media and industry together need to do a better job at combating weird right-winger game content narratives out there. Ever since Gamergate, I think that whole clockwork outrage has just become so fucking exhausting. And I would love it if the industry and the media just got some balls to stand up more to the weird commentary that's out there about it. If you looked at the reaction to Intergalactic, even Dragon Age that we had, video games, I believe they do need to be a diverse space, for everybody, telling richer stories, giving different perspectives, new experiences. I can't get that. I don't want to play as someone like me in every game. It's boring as sin. So I think we're in this really important moment just now because I think we're going to be sleepwalking past the threat of regression if we don't. It's only a matter of time before your Elon Musk of the world comes true on their crazy promises of making their own stuff. And at that point, that terrifies me. I don't want an industry for them, an industry for us, because
let them have their own fucking industry.
No, all it does is perpetuate this culture war nonsense, which I believe gamers, I hate to say, are kind of at the epicenter of, to be honest with you. I just would love to see the industry at large just find a way, because I was, Intergalactic came out, it absolutely blew me away. The trailer, it was nothing but a tone piece. And then you just see all the garbage. Yeah. Excuse me. It's hurt me that much. You've got Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross on this. You've got Hollywood talent. It looked amazing. The Akira inspirations. Jesus. It's like everything that you want. And I saw very little of the positivity. And that's more to do with social media platforms. But I wish there was a way that they could come out and just be proudly, just like with a video salvo to be like, listen, here's what we're doing. Fuck the rest of these, that type of thing.
That's it. I don't think... I think it's needed. And I think that, it's just tiring. Like, everyone else knows just to fucking ignore them. You know what I mean? Like,
I just want to make weirdos weird again.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really it.
Make weirdos weird again.
Yeah. Fight fire with fire. The only thing,
Mingwa.
something like that. I think the only way you get rid of this, I think, is ridicule.
Yeah,
that's it. And that's really it. But
what is it? I was watching something the other day. I think it was Kevin Bridges, and he was saying that like some people need to be bullied a wee bit. Like I've always said to my wife that if you have someone annoying in school, like I always worked in high school. If someone was annoying in high school, all it took was for them to get battered at least once, and then they shut up. Like every single person, if they're getting too big for their boots, needs to get either punched in the face or publicly ridiculed, and then it just stops them there and then.
Well, it's like the old saying, Scott. The higher the monkey climbs, the more it exposes its ass. so, so bear that in mind. In fact, we were at a family party. It was like a wee Halloween party, a Hogmanay party, and it was just for the kids. And of course, well, there was some other kids there, and I was talking to one of the dads, and it's like one of the other boys had punched his kid, and he's like, "Oh, I can't really say just hit him back. I don't really know what to say." It's like, well, you shouldn't really hit him back, but you kind of should, and all that type of stuff. And it was just a very interesting conversation, having like just kind of where is the line these days? Because we're joking about it. It's like, remember back when like our dads and our mums would just tell us, just hit them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Distinctly remember those conversations as a kid.
It's a tough one. It is a tough one. But no, it's as a whole. I think we do need to heal. I think there needs to be some healing there.
You're right.
And
you're right.
There needs to be. I think that the push on the Game Awards to at least give some people time is good because it kind of shines that light. I think there needs to be more of an onus put on these companies to, show the people that are working on these games, let them. Why am I saying games and games awards? Let them really, be the bastions for it. Like Neil Druckmann is all powerful man at Naughty Dog, right? Like he is the shining light of that company, but there are a million other people that work under him that are the magic makers at that company. Let us see them.
Yeah.
Like, stop hiding them. Neil Druckmann. Let them out.
Yeah, that's where, it's still a very young industry, and it's very much, that's kind of the Hollywoodification of it. Like, you'll never know who directed the film.
It's true.
Not the production staff. And that is an issue, I suppose. Like, I think naturally human beings were all drawn to these auteur types, that's kind of like, who's the one person behind it? The Hideo Kojima's started. But yeah, I'll move on before I do get started. I think the last one I have here that I'd like to see for the industry at large, and we talked about it, we touched about it earlier, more value for gamers.
Yeah.
Like, I think with the rising cost of living, the price of butter's only gone up. Publishers need to take safer bets, I think stop the pre-order editions, the nickel and diamond early access pish, skins nonsense, all the usual stuff. Just give us more content complete stuff. I'd love to see more of that. Ubisoft, of course, learning that lesson the hard way. That was just a very simple one for me.
Makes sense, I think there's a place for early access stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Path of Exile 2 at the moment, but
real early access
stuff, but
not the 3-day one.
Like the Indiana Jones been able to play that a few days earlier because you've bought it. It's just like, what's the fucking point?
It's a nonsense. You've paid 40 quid
for a single player title. Like, it just makes no sense. So I think for me, just as an industry, it is just like, let's love video games again. Like, I know, like with Concord and stuff like that, it came and went, but like these are people with jobs and like, families and fucking houses to pay for, and mothers and fathers to take care of. It's like, it's not just an industry now. These are human beings that actually work in this industry. Now, I'll shit on Metaphor ReFantasio. I'll shit on Dragon's Dogma even more, but I understand that there are people behind that have made that game and love it to bits, and that's fine. But it's just, I think there's just something lost there. Like, I think we take for granted that these people are making the things that we love and that give us reason to sleep at night. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't have fucking video games, I don't think I'd ever sleep.
No, 100%. I always go back to the music industry, which is, if we treated music the same way that some people treat video games, which is, I only like country music, and I only think that they should ever be country music. But this person has made metal music. This is an outrage. This is, again, I take this personally. I want this person, the metaler, to make country music. It's not going to happen. It's art. It's someone's vision. Someone's went off and done it. They've been creative enough, talented enough to create it, put it out into the world. And that, like you say, let's just love that, respect that, move on. I'd love to see more of that in the industry and just less of the. Unfortunately, we've just become so conditioned to kind of outrage and, the discourse is always around. Well, discourse is a bad word, but it's always around something to kind of be upset about. Like even earlier this week, it was all about like the yellow paint on climbable sections of walls. And it's like, yeah, but I've never once played a game thinking there's too much yellow paint here. Like, is this really what we're spending our time talking about? Like, come on. It was IGN put a video about it, and it's like,
of course they did.
Come on, guys. Like,
it's just an easy, this is a pure gimme though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but we bite.
Yeah,
the videos get views. I just want to see us be better than that.
Yeah,
and to mature as consumers, as an industry, as media. So yeah, but I think we've covered everything in terms of that side, because I know time's getting on now. So, what about your own resolution, Scott?
I think that I'm obviously on the Rockstar journey. So finish that, and just enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2 all over again. I would love to say, and the way that the year is looking to begin with, it might come true, depending on what happens after that. But this might be the year of the backlog. I want to be clearing some of this nonsense off. Yeah. Now, putting Red Dead Redemption 2 in there isn't helping with that, but I just want to play it. But I just want to play it. So I think that this will be the year that the backlog reduces rather than increases.
Yeah.
And
steadies.
Even. Yeah, and I think that I'm also going to be a bit more frugal when it comes to buying games. Like this year has been, I've bought a hell of a lot of games this year.
Yeah.
And it was, for the purpose of recording. Now, we're reviewing games when we get them, and that's fine. Like, I think that coming to terms with that as the year has gone on was a real sort of eye-opener for me. Like, I don't have to rush through and play Dragon's Dogma, Rise of the Ronin day one, because, like...
No, but I'm sorry. Can't do that.
I'm sorry, listeners, but who cares? Like, I'll listen. If you want to go and listen to a review for a game, go and listen to the people that do this for a living. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a father first and foremost, and then it is, husband, and then employment, and then everything else. And this side, fighter.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think that coming to terms with, I just want to review the games and look at the games as I play them, rather than playing them for review. I think that that's going to be the focus for next year, because listeners, unless you're going to start giving me money, then,
the exception will be made if we're ever fortunate enough to get review codes, which we have 100%. On a couple of occasions, and thank you, of course, and you will get an honest verdict. But yeah, I'm with you in that, man. I think like this podcast, it's not, we're not getting all the freebies. We're not pals with Jeff Keighley. We're not getting the fucking 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro sent to our door. As great as that would be, but this
who would take it?
What's that?
If we got one of them, who would take it?
Oh, do you know what would happen? We'd go through your preferred choice. The gods of the coin. No. It's one of those ones, like if it's something I knew you really wanted, I'll just take it. That's it. We kind of know.
Gollum.
It's like, there you go, Liam. You'd love this. But it's one of those things, like it's taking that almost book club approach to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll always give our honest verdict when we're going to do it, but I think the one exception we got was Star Wars Outlaws, because we did get a review code for that. We also had things like Marvel Rivals beta and stuff like that. So I mean, they were fantastic opportunities that we were delighted to have, and we will still obviously do that as the year goes on. And that's the exception to the rule. But I'm 100% with you. Like, if I don't know, GTA 6 comes out tomorrow, we're not sitting here doing 23-hour days.
It's not happening.
Playing it. We're just going to have the book club approach and just talk about it along with everything else that's going on in life. That's the whole vibe of the show, isn't it? Like, and I'm going to piggyback off what you said, because mine's is very similar in terms of this first gaming resolution. Stealing your answer, just checking homework all day. Which is to lean into I've got it written here, lean into my backlog more and embrace new spending habits. Because you're right. I'm never happy. I think we had an episode about this. Like, we're never happy paying full price for a game. There's obviously going to be the FOMO, and I think I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
I want to become more of a gamer that thrives more on sales, weights. It just depends. It just depends what I'm like. But I have to, because I'm moving house.
Yeah.
I have had a reckoning looking at the finances and ingoings and outgoings. I'm like, okay, right. I want to be able to do X, Y, Z. So I've now made a conscious effort to put more money into other things that I want to do this year. With the family, like with the kids and stuff like that. So that's going to come first over like me just willy-nilly buying stuff. But then again, I am a hustler. So, if there's a Pokemon card collection up there, it's getting punted for games. So I will still do that. And that's part of the fun. But
I don't think it's going to be wholesale never buying a video game when it comes out. Like if there's a video game comes out that I want to play day one, I'm going to buy it and play it day one.
100%,
but I'm not going to do it in a way that I'm going to play this every single moment from I wake up to I go to sleep for the purpose of talking about it for 20 minutes on this podcast. Like I love everyone that listens to us. Don't forget this, like chocolate tones in your ear. I love you. I really do. I love everything about
Pure
you.
galaxy.
Like go and look at yourself in the mirror and just remember that I love you. But I'm not finishing video games for you quickly because it's horrible.
I don't think that's why people would listen to us, to be honest with you.
It's brutal doing it though. Like I felt it this year with a few games. It was very much try and finish it as quickly as humanly possible just to talk about it, and play games that I don't think I would have played this year for that purpose. So
it's a tough slog. I mean, I have enjoyed the kind of it's taken me back to like when I was doing the Games Journal stuff and I was getting more review copies of stuff. And playing through games for a review is not a fun process. Mm-hmm. Like as much as it sounds great, you're getting free games. It's a real crunch in your time and effectively your personal time. Like the Star Wars Outlaws review, I did have to drop everything just to kind of play everything, just to finish it because there's a standard you want to set. You want to make sure, right, have I played this to completion? Or if it's a gargantuan game, have I played enough of it
to talk about
it? So, but for me, it's coming back to the backlog point. I look at my shelf of games, and there's so many games. It's like I feel like I'm just burning through them, and I am the world's worst for like. See, once I finish a game, it's like done, on to the next. But I really want to just go back and just spend more time. Red Dead Redemption 2, so it's like be a vibe gamer, just kind of like. Man. I might just go back and just do that. And I think I've did that more thanks to this podcast this year. Mm-hmm. Because beforehand I was very guilty of just like, done it, move on to the next, done it, move on to the next. And I'm actually just enjoying going back to old game series. Like we talked about GTA. Like I think I had Batman Arkham at the start of the year, which I do every year. That'll be coming up at some point. Red Dead Redemption 2. There was another, even things like Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. Going into PlayStation Plus, discovering something new to love, that's where I'm going to be this year. And of course, like you says, there's going to be the big ones. There's going to be Grand Theft Auto 6, Ghost of Yoti, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'll be there day one for them, and you're going to hear about it. I mean, forewarning, I'm going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows
forever.
So
I'll try and break up the monotony.
Don't
you worry about that.
He's there to save us.
So I'm not going to play it.
No. I mean, I would not force you to play something you wouldn't want to.
Unless we get it for free, then I might do it.
More on that later. But the only other milestone, the resolution I've got for myself here is I want to find a new Final Fantasy VII this year. I don't know what it is, but I'm open to it. So I think for me it is to just keep the mantra of I'll at least try a game series or try games I wouldn't normally play in a way that doesn't infringe on the first resolution.
Yeah.
Which has been a success for me this in 2024 and something I want to continue, which is why I was thinking I want to hear Scott's thoughts on Dragon Quest III 2D HD remake, because it's like I know I would probably like that because of the Octopath love, but that was another one, Octopath Travelers, like years ago. Mm-hmm. Just trying that on a whim thanks to Game Pass. It's like, right, so that's where I'm just going to take more of your launch points to play. You should play this. So maybe it might be Stellar Blade, who knows?
It might be, aye. Let me have a think about it.
Yeah,
because that's an interesting point.
You've got all year. I mean, who knows what it is today? But any other resolutions for yourself that you wish to set?
I don't think so.
Publicly?
I think I wanted to set that in Aye, I don't think so. I'm quite happy. Just continue doing this. Like,
Well, of course, yeah.
it's
Of course.
we've got a wee community of folks, so let's keep on fucking shitting out podcasts with it.
Yeah. It's been great fun. It's something that
I look forward to it. I really do. Like, it's.
Do you know, actually, that is something that we forgot to mention, and because we've talked about it way before this podcast. But I think the resolution we definitely should continue with is build and kind of get more involved with the gaming community at large. That'd be grand. I know. It's good for us. It's
the
growth.
great unwashed.
It's growth.
No,
that's us. You know, two tramps turning up to the party. You know what I mean? But I think it's. I think that's going to be great. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think we're almost at a time. In fact, we're going on a bit. In terms of a challenge, we're going to just make this quick fire for you, right? A challenge or a milestone, and I have one for you.
Okay.
For 2025. Scott, I want you to play and finish The Witcher 3.
Oh my God.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. Two
I implored
absolutely
you.
enormous games. Okay.
Cyberpunk you can get done in 20 to 30 hours. Easy.
You can.
You could burn through it easy.
Okay. I'll definitely do it. The Witcher 3 is definitely on the list, so for sure.
Specifically the DLC, but yeah.
For you, I think there is something there with a turn-based RPG. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon that you could have some fun with like a Final Fantasy VIII, for example. There could be something there.
Give me something modern.
Aye. Do you know what I'd like to see you play and finish? Is Devil May Cry 5.
Oh yeah, I don't actually get to play that, yeah.
Devil May
Nearly
Cry
bought
5, it'll be somewhere. You'll be able to download it, but
As soon as I get it in the sale, which will be somewhere, I'll pick it up. I'll have a look tonight and see if I can pick up.
pure vibe gaming is, if that's what you're looking for, that's got it in spades.
Okay. I enjoyed the demo
Yeah.
the other day,
So that's my option for you.
Okay, well, challenge accepted, dear sir. But of course, it's time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, Scott, where each week we pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on in the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend to pass on to the next generation of gamers. So the last one actually was the DS game with GTA Chinatown Wars becoming the latest edition. This week's showdown, we're debating what best comedy game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. So as always, last week's winner goes last. That's me. Scott, let's get to it.
Good grief. So the first thing I did when we got this list was Google the answer, because I could not think of one comedy-based game that I thought would make the list. Now,
good news is we can keep it brief because we're right at the tail end.
So we're right at the tail end here. So for me, I didn't think about games that focus on comedy. So like, Thank Goodness You're Here, for example. Like, it's made for comedic purposes.
Yep.
What I looked at was a game that uses comedy in what it's doing.
Yep.
And is filled basically with that. And the game that I chose for this week, don't have an honourable mention because I couldn't even think of one.
Okay.
But the game for this week was South Park: The Stick of Truth.
You bastard. That's what I picked as well.
I had no interest in playing it. I love South Park, but I had no interest in playing it until you told me to play it.
Yep.
And it is hilarious from moment 1 to moment 10. Yep. Like when it ends, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm hungry. It is absolutely hilarious. So I think it was the only option. Is this the one where Randy gets probed as well?
Yes.
So
it gets censored in some areas as well.
So it's hilarious. Some of the wee touches that you have in it when you go to the toilet and stuff like that.
You can throw farts at people, you know. It's just
the difficulty being, you know, race and stuff like that as well. Like, it's just, it takes everything that you know about video games and, you know, turn-based RPGs and just makes it South Park. Like, it's more of a South Park game than it is an RPG. I'd reckon it just completely fulfills its role perfectly.
Yeah, so it's that moment when you play it, it's like, Christ, this is an episode of the show. It's that moment in Jurassic Park when Ian Malcolm's looking at the Brachiosaurus, like the crazy son of a bitch did it.
So good. Yeah. And you can get the balls in the chin.
You can. Yes.
So that's a winner for me.
Genius. Even though I actually preferred the fractured butthole from
yeah.
a combat perspective, but I think Stick of Truth worked so that could run. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. Stick of Truth is I want to give a shout out to the honourable mention, which is Fall Guys. Just because
the time we played it.
Yeah, just
hilarious.
because it's so stupid.
Mhm.
I did think about thank goodness you're here, but I thought, you know what, I've talked enough about that. I'll just be a smart ass. And I thought Fall Guys could be my honourable mention because it's just stupid and
Yeah.
hilarious. But I'm with you.
Was it Fall Guys? Is it not Gang Beasts?
No, it's Fall Guys.
Was it?
Yeah, Gang Beasts is the other one. But for me, it was Fall Guys. Just I found it hilarious.
Aye.
Just with the old Takeshi's Castle, stupid falling about.
Games and stuff. Aye.
Made me laugh
definitely,
anyway. But
definitely.
yeah, South Park Stick of Truth is the latest addition to the list in this very quick fire version of the Pixel Picks Showdown. The reason why I'm burning through that very quickly, Scott, is because we do have a bit of reader mail, which comes from our dear listener Ryan, who has, of course, Ryan had probably a legendary rant
Gaming
in
take.
Nintendo's part, and I won't read out the full thing this time because, you know, it was. I probably shouldn't have did that in the first place. So apologies, Ryan. I thought it was the right thing to do. But yeah, he's good news is that, you know, his daughter has acquired a Switch in recent weeks. It just has, according to Ryan. So he's now behind enemy lines, as he said. And the Switch itself has came with Mario Kart. But he's asking what would we recommend to a 6-year-old girl that's obsessed with Astrobot. Any help or guidance would be appreciated. So, Scott, would you like to kick things off?
I reckon the answer's there. The answer is there for all to see, and it's Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think that's just like, you know, 3 points in the bag. Apart from that, I don't know if you started with like Breath of the Wild or something.
Well, Breath of the Wild, I'm going back to because my son's 4, so Brian's daughter's got a couple of years on him, so she should be much better at games, I'd imagine, what my son is. But he's really enjoying Link's Awakening, the remake, which is great because it's very simple movement wise. It's not too overwhelming. It is a bit dense puzzle wise, but it could be a good option for you to play side by side.
Yeah.
The other one for me is Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I think that's just a perfect one, and I'm really looking forward to introducing my son to that. I'm just waiting because he's in the Odyssey vibe, and he's also someone that's obsessed with Astrobot. And unfortunately for him, Dad likes rest mode, so I've got like a quest paused in Dragon. He's like, Dad, could play Astrobot? I'm like, sorry, son. Here's Mario Odyssey. Yeah, it's just like it. So Mario Odyssey is the premier choice.
Yeah,
it's that Shadow of a Doubt. Shadow of a Doubt. I was going to say joint there, Jesus.
What have you been smoking?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? But I think Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, even Super Mario Wonder.
Yes, Mario Wonder class. Especially as like sitting together and stuff as well.
Exactly. And you have other ones as well. I think the Crash Insane trilogy's on there as well.
Yeah.
If it's anything like mascot based, would be the go-to, I would say, for the Wii one. And also, if you've got Mario Kart there, I think things like Crash Team Racing and all that's another option. You've kind of ticked off all the main ones, but why not consider something like a Mario Party? You know, something that
Jamboree.
Exactly. Something that you could just kind of play, have a bit of fun together. And one you mentioned earlier, perhaps Super Smash Brothers, getting into the fighting genre.
Yeah.
Nintendo has an abundance. Oh, that's without even mentioning like Kirby's
Donkey Kong.
Although Donkey Kong's
Tropical Freeze.
It's hard though. That's the thing.
It's
for kids. It's hard, but yeah, I suppose you're right. And there's other ones like Princess Peach, but I don't think that's.
I think it's geared more towards, you know, my Wii one. Like younger. I think what we're failing to, you mentioned it there, a couple of years on our kids, dexterity and stuff like that, and understanding probably a bit more. So I think you probably could get away with a Donkey Kong. What I would say is don't look through the deals on the Nintendo Switch because the user interface on it is a complete nightmare. Like, it is so annoying to look at. That's the one thing that Nintendo have never improved is how their store works. Because everything else runs at 60, that runs at 20 frames per second. Just just take a bit of time and just if you have a local game store, go to a CEX or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just go and check out games there. That was always the joy of like being young, and that if you've got money over Christmas, you could go to the game shop and go and have a look at some of the games and just see what you want. Like,
yeah.
And at the end of the day, if she picks a game that she doesn't like, then it's her fault. It's like, hell mend you. That's what my mum used to say to me.
Aye,
like you're stuck with that now, so enjoy it.
I would also, to jump off that as well, 3 things. 1, Hot UK deals. 2,
Yes.
Tesco in store.
Yes.
They usually do 2 for 1 Switch games deals every now and then, and Currys.
Yeah. Currys are class.
Switch deal daft,
Yeah.
aren't they? Like,
Yeah. Aye. If you see a game somewhere that you think that she might like, immediately check Currys, because you will find something.
Absolutely. And maybe you're best going the third party route first, because Nintendo games never seem to go on sale. And you mentioned performance and all that. This is why I'm not recommending Pokemon, because that thing runs like.
I was going to say that. I was going to say Pokemon, then I remembered. But yeah, there's. I mean, that's the thing with it. There's loads of games out there for it. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, let us know how you get on.
And then you can play them and enjoy them as well, because
that's the magic of it.
You're miserable.
No, I think maybe it turns out into a Nintendo fan.
That's it.
You know, I'm
Nintendo fan.
I'm keen to hear the progress as it goes on, and maybe it goes and buys Tears of the Kingdom or falls in love. But of course, that brings us to the end of this week's podcast, the first one for 2025, and it's been a bumper one. So thank you once again for joining us. And if you like what you hear and enjoyed the podcast, leave a wee 5-star review. Helps us out, makes a big difference. Share, tell your pals, tell your auntie, tell your dog, tell anybody. Scott, it's test time. Where can people find and engage with you online if they so wish to do so?
Oh, God. You can find me on Blue Sky at lamman.bsky.social.
I got it in one. Look at that.
Spouting the faith.
That's it.
I am the font of Blue Sky now.
That's it. And of course, you can find me at carmelite.bsky.social, where I am not spouting the faith, and I'm not. If you like to see just random Pokemon cards, we're great for that.
You're
I'm great
fucking
for
knocking it out of the park with it.
That's it though.
I had one card today, and it's been like, that's me for the month now.
That's all you need. I'm sitting on a 10-pack opening though. I'm just waiting to pull the trigger. But of course, thank you to our producer and music man, the man that makes it all happen, the talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray, who of course you can hear on our Christmas special. Please go check that out, even if it's past now the festive season. It's a great feel good episode, if I do say so myself. We look forward to getting Sean on more episodes this year.
Ooh.
Of course, you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms, and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social, and also do what Ryan did, write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
2025, yeah.